Good morning, driving warriors. Got a little lighting issue going on here. Nope. Let's see what that does. Okay. Battery charge, so this way I can look into the camera, but have it in the corner because outside it is getting pretty bright. And that light takes away from the camera. Okay. Okay, Google. What is the date? Okay, Google. What is the date?
It's Saturday, February 25th, 2023.
Okay, Google, what time is it?
It's 6:35 a.m.
Okay, Google, what is the weather?
It's 50 and cloudy. Today, there'll be rain and snow with a high of 51 and a low of 36.
All righty then. So here we are. Once again, today is Saturday. So a little bit, we're starting later, of course, 6:36. Charlene is at work. I don't see anybody on chat. I don't even see the chat box. So if anybody's there, hello, good morning. So here we are on a Saturday morning, a cold, windy, wet-ish type Saturday morning, February 25th, 2023. Our goal is to help you get from point A to point B, where B is better. It's a journey, and we're here to help you navigate that journey. Like all journeys, that means it's not a sprint, it's not a marathon, it is more like an adventure. If I think you had to put one word to it, it would be, it's an adventure. And like all adventures, there's highs, lows, there's fear, uncertainty, doubt, excitement, boredom. It's the whole range. There are obstacles. The Stoics tell us the obstacle is the way. So a lot to it. There's a lot to this journey, but our goal is to help you get there. Okay, there we go. Wada Bevy, good morning. Good morning, Wada Bevy. And good morning, Diana. Hope all is well. Wada Bevy, interested in hearing about your new clothes and how we're going to get those pants to Roxanne's husband, Jorge. Giorgio. Okay, I'll be visiting again. All righty then, LOL. All right, so once again, Journey podcast is breadcrumb. We do a series of breadcrumbs. This is breadcrumb number 1, just the motivational video, that shot of adrenaline in your arm this morning to get you to watch the stuff that's down below in the description, because that is where the magic occurs. About 16 or 17 breadcrumbs down below, including the breadcrumb to our online course, which is this course for people who don't have access to the internet, this course for people who have access to the internet, where you can do the online course, and of course, links to our books, our other books and magazines. And the motivational video, which today, once again, is good. It's short. It is Rudyard Kipling's famous poem, If, and I think that would be a great thing to help you get from point A to point B. I have carried it around about 25 years, memorized about 25 years ago, and know many parts of it still, but could remember it, memorize it fairly quickly thereafter. Once again. All right, so plinky link, as Lucy would say. Right, Wada Bevy. All righty then, what else do we got? Okay, so Next breadcrumb. You want to get from point A to point B. Do you want to get from point A to point B, Diana? Charlene is at work, by the way. Yes, it does not exist. If does not exist. Point B does not exist. Well, once you get to point B, it now becomes point A. If you want to get from point A to point B, one way to do it, next breadcrumb bleep, is, thank you, Diana, yes, delay gratification. Most people out there focus on what can I do to make me happy now? How can I feel gratification right now? Delay gratification is one way to do it. So one thing Wadabevi does is she has a dot in the middle of her forehead, a little target right there, a little eye patch on her third eye. She's delaying gratification. So it's okay. So that's one thing. But before we do that, let's strap on our metaphorical virtual seatbelt and get our coffee. Make sure we have our pen out and our notebook out. Make sure we have our notebook out. I'm just, and write down now our gratification. I'm so happy and grateful now that okay, so for me, yesterday was a big day. Our Desert Oasis mission helpers, Colonel Randy Bissell, retired U.S. Army Special Forces Colonel, Colonel Dennis Thornton, Colonel retired Dennis Thornton, spent last 17 years in the NSA, his job in the Army, and Navy SEAL Dave Schmeck completed their 4 or 5 days here. It was very good, learned a lot, planned a lot, have a lot of great plans. And so we had a good, really good 5 days. Met with the American Legion District Commander, District 2 Commander Fred Doughton, U.S. Army, U-Force, U.S. Army Academy, Military Academy at West Point to get the paperwork to start American Legion Post Furnace Creek 447. So that was good. Met with the seller of our property here, the Oasis, talking about future plans. And he offered to become a partner, a financial partner. So that's good. Boom. Meeting with Boxable next week with Camino Verde Group to get units for here for Rain Man. So that's some of the things I'm so happy and grateful for. Have the opportunity to be here with you all today with my MCT oil. Thank you. And etc. Okay. Next, we're 9:17 in our theme. Memes, some memes. Delay gratification, another way Jordan Peterson put it, is to bargain with the future. So bargain with the future. I'm going to give this up today because tomorrow my expectation or in the future is to get that. Boom, eye patch. Ponder that, ponder that. Okay, now here's an example of that, delayed gratification. I'm putting bricks in a wall. The wall is a massive, huge wall, and what I see, I can view it as my life is one brick in this massive wall that's boring, repetitive, and meaningless because, putting a brick in a wall, how meaningful is that? One brick at a time. I can choose to look at it that way as boring. If I choose to look at it as boring, what neurotransmitter will I release? What if Evie or Diana, what neurotransmitter will I release? Cortisol. Right, I'll have a brain cloud. I'll probably start releasing some adrenaline, not know what to do, start getting frustrated. What is the point? Reframe. Larry David flip. Good. Wadabebi, cortisol. Or I could look at it to say, one day this will be a cathedral. This will be whatever it's going to be. Yes, lots of cortisol. Right, Diana. Or I can look at it that way. So I can get a little dopaminergic surge or drops. Wow, I'm part of building. I'm building a cathedral. Next layer. I'm part of building a cathedral with other people. Now, what am I releasing? I'm part of building something, dopamine. I have a goal, task. I can see something into the future. With other people, what do I release from that? Someone, what do I release from that? Oxytocin. Right. I release oxytocin. Right, because now I'm part of a group or part of a thing. And then I'm thinking about what this cathedral will look like. So now I'm releasing serotonin. I take pride in what I'm doing. So I have an angels, in quote, angels cocktail of neurotransmitters, right? So I have an angels cocktail of neurotransmitters, all because I did one simple little thing called a reframe. Instead of seeing it as a meaningless, pointless task of a brick at a time, instead of looking at the brick, I can imagine into the future, imagine the other people around me. And now all of a sudden I take pride in what I do, and every brick is going to be better than the next brick. And every brick is going to be quicker than the next brick. I'm going to measure my worth, my value by how well I did. That will make me proud, which will give me a little bit more dopamine. Every brick, drip, 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 straight lines, even, drip, drip, drip. And I can imagine what it's going to look like. And then all of the people who are going to go to that over the hundreds of years. And so that's how people do things. Boom. Mic drop. Okay. So we're at 13:30 in. I will be going to Lost Wages today on a mission. Let's see what Seth Godin has to say. Oh, TED Talk. Before that, quickly, TED Talk, we're finishing week 4. Leadership, not crashing a car. We're getting to the kingdom of heaven, Kant's in categorical imperative, which has 2 formulations. One that we're going to talk about for a second is the act such that what you're thinking of doing is a law. Take a step back and say, would the world be a better place if everybody did this? And the answer is probably no. Let me try to pull up a picture here. Something else I'm very proud of. Stephen Wesley, generosity. Let's see if we can pull this up quickly. Thriving warrior. That goes on, a bag of beef jerky, where we get 10 cents for every bag sold goes to Thriving Warrior. Warrior. That's because they put 3 T's in it. You got a problem with that? So that will be starting distribution by this time next year. We should have national distribution, generating lots of money to help veterans out there and empower the human spirit. And then we need to get our coffee mugs that say Thriving Warrior, I survived childhood. All right, Wannabevy. Okay, so that's the imperative, categorical imperative. Next, Seth Godin, time is racing. We have to get through this. The obligation of none of the above. The obligation of, in quotes, rock and roll quotes, none of the above. As we continue to face difficult choices and work to make things better, it's quite likely that the alternative being presented aren't ideal or even appealing. Many organizations and communities are stuck because none of the above is the majority's opinion, or perhaps the desire of those in power or those with loud voices. But unless you're willing to acknowledge that you're simply being difficult, none of the above comes with the responsibility to describe a path that's better. Right. Because forward is the best option. Let's go with one that makes the most sense. And if you don't have a better plan, you should be responsible enough to back the one that's most likely to work, especially if you don't like it. So I'll repeat that last one. So the goal is describe a path that's better, because forward is the best option. So instead of none of the above, the question is which one is best? Let's go with the one that makes the most sense. And if you don't have a better plan, you should be responsible enough to back the one that's most likely to work, especially if you don't like it. Right. Okay. Thank you, Seth Godin. Now, lastly, while we're winding down, boom, winding down, imagine your life is like a table. Nietzsche said it's like a portrait. We paint our own portrait, and at the end, all we have left is the portrait. I kind of like the idea of a table better. So you build a table, and then you put the stuff of your life on that table. And when you're done, what's left is what's on the table. So what are some of the things that you want to do? You want to have the biggest possible table you can. That means it's going to take more resources. You got to be smarter. You don't have to be very smart to make a little tiny table balanced on a rock. But a better table is bigger. And it's got to have at least 4 legs. But conceptually, you could have a table that has more than 4 legs. Our focus is the 4 fundamental primary legs, without which your table can't really be steady. Many people have a 3-legged table, missing one element, one of the 4 elements. And that's okay. You can get it to work, but it can't hold nearly as much as a 4-legged table. Right? Okay. So 4 legs, physical. You have to be physically in good shape. That's fitness and health. Fitness and health. What you consume and what you do physically. Physical. Mental. The ability to learn, remember, communicate. You can break it down to that. Ability to learn, remember, communicate. Footnote, last Sunday in church, the priest talked about there's 4 basic things that you need to have, and it's the same 4 that we talk about. Not that we made it up. I don't remember where we got it, but it is 4. Physical, mental, emotional. If you can't control your emotions, don't worry. Somebody else will, and they will probably take you out of the game. Unless you happen to be Forrest Gump, who happened to be good at latching on to the good people and good at noticing the bad people. Next, spiritual. This is the leg most people don't usually have, the spiritual leg. And guys, we live in a Christian world. There's no disadvantage to really understanding Christianity. And my hunch is once you do, the seed will be planted. And there's a whole spectrum of it. There's a whole spectrum. There is a lot to be learned. Okay, so last two breadcrumbs. Number one, what is the last? Okay, Diana's already got it up there. Live such that yesterday was the only easy day. How can we do that? If you're negative and you feel life sucks, just embrace the suck. Get used to being uncomfortable. Find something. Notice the thing that makes you uncomfortable, that makes you frustrated, and get used to it. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. Be more samurai, karate chop chop. Be more samurai, karate chop chop. Do things as perfectly as you can given the time and resources that you have to do them. Okay? There's a bunch of other subcategories of yesterday was the only easy day, but time is racing. Wow. Ooh, sorry, guys. Apologies. This is going a lot longer than usual. And the last breadcrumb. Whew, thank God it's over. The last breadcrumb. Not quite, Diana, but thank you. Now I'm going to wait. Now we're going to wait an extra minute. Now, the last breadcrumb, just consider the fact that you are here means God is not through with you yet. It's not 7 o'clock. God is not through with you yet. So act such that just focus that there's some purpose for you. You don't need to know what the purpose is, but that's what we got. Okay, guys? Thank you, Diana and Cut, Wadabevi, smile, and call your brother, right, call him Rizzle Razzle.